The morning I realized my marriage was over, the coffee on his side of the table had gone cold again. It sat untouched beside a plate of crumbs and a phone that kept buzzing with meaningless notifications. He was still in bed, asleep, peaceful, while I stood in the kitchen, staring at everything I had carried alone. I'm Lena, and I married a man who never grew up. When I first met Evan, he was the kind of person who made the world feel lighter. He had this smile that could dissolve tension, this way of turning ordinary moments into laughter. He was charming, kind, a little lost, but I told myself that love could give him direction. I was 25, responsible, always on time, the one with color-coded folders at work. Evan was the opposite: spontaneous, playful, unpredictable. He said he didn't want to live by society's boring rules. At the time, that sounded exciting. I thought maybe I needed someone like him to balance me out. But love has a funny way of hiding warning signs. His lack of plans, his late mornings, his unfinished jobs, I thought all of that would change once we got married. I believed marriage would give him purpose. It didn't. At first, I tried to be patient. I told myself that everyone takes time to find their path. But weeks turned into months, and his path seemed to lead nowhere. Every morning, I left for work alone while he stayed home, scrolling his phone or playing games. When I returned, the house looked exactly the same: dishes in the sink, laundry untouched, his laughter echoing from a YouTube video. "Evan," I'd say gently, "did you call about that job today?" He'd glance up and smile. "I'll do it tomorrow. Don't stress so much." Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. Sometimes, when I came home late and tired, I'd find him sprawled on the couch, empty bottles on the table. He'd greet me like nothing was wrong. "You worry too much," he'd say. "Relax. Life's short." But I wasn't relaxed. I was exhausted carrying both of us while pretending everything was fine. People think marriages break suddenly. They don't. They crumble slowly, under the weight of small disappointments. One night, I broke down in the kitchen. I had just paid the rent and realized my account was almost empty. I sat on the floor, crying quietly, when he walked in. "What's wrong now?" he sighed. "Evan, we can't live like this," I said. "I can't be the only one trying." He rubbed his temples. "You knew who I was before we got married. You can't change me." That sentence burned in my chest. I didn't want to change him. I wanted him to care. But he didn't. He talked about dreams: opening a cafe, becoming a photographer, starting an online business. But he never followed through. He'd start for a week, get bored, and quit. His excuses became a language I knew too well. "I just need to find something I'm passionate about. I can't work for people who treat me like dirt. I'll figure it out soon." I waited, hoping, believing, loving, until the love began to hurt more than it healed. Then came my birthday. I remember that day vividly: the gray sky, the long shift at work, the little hope I held inside that he might surprise me. I came home expecting at least a note, maybe dinner, or a simple happy birthday. The apartment was dark. He was asleep on the couch, TV blaring, an empty pizza box on the table. I stood there, still holding my bag, staring at the man I once thought was my future. Something inside me broke, quietly, like glass cracking under pressure. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked to the kitchen, cooked a small meal, and ate alone. When he finally woke up, rubbing his eyes, he said, "Oh, hey babe, you're home. I was gonna order something later." I really looked at him and said, "Evan, I can't do this anymore." He blinked, confused. "Do what?"
This. Us.
The waiting, the excuses, the pretending. He laughed softly. "You're just tired. You always get dramatic when you're tired." But I wasn't dramatic. I was done. That night, while he slept, I made my decision. I packed a small bag, just the essentials. In the morning, before the sun rose, I left. He didn't wake up. He didn't even notice me go. I moved in with my friend Mia. For weeks, I felt like a ghost drifting between guilt and relief. I still loved him, but I couldn't carry him anymore. I realized that loving someone who doesn't love themselves enough to try will only drown you both. The silence of my new apartment felt strange at first. No TV noise, no half-finished promises. Just quiet. I began to breathe again. I worked, cooked, read, slept simple things, but they felt new. Evan called often at first. "Please come back," he said. "I'll change this time." I told him, "Evan, change because you want to, not because you lost me." But he never really changed. After a while, the calls stopped. Months passed. I started feeling lighter. I took weekend walks, joined a writing class, started saving for my own apartment. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was failing. One evening, nearly a year later, I received a message from him. "Hey Lena, I just wanted to say sorry. You were right. I wasted a lot of time. I hope you're happy now." I stared at the words for a long moment before replying. "I am. I hope you find your way." Then I put my phone down and smiled softly. Not because I hated him, but because I didn't anymore. I was free. Now, every morning, I make 1 cup of coffee, just mine, and sit by the window as the sunlight fills my little apartment. I think of all the things I learned. That love alone is not enough. That care without effort is empty. That peace is more valuable than promises. I used to believe marriage was about holding on. Now I know it's also about knowing when to let go. Evan once told me he wanted freedom. I guess we both found it, just not the way we expected. And sometimes, when I sip my coffee and watch the world wake up, I whisper to myself, "You did the right thing, Lena." Because I finally understand the right love doesn't keep you waiting. It helps you grow. And the right life begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to start theirs.